In a small town, a kind and hard-working young woman lived with her family. They were not rich, but they were full of love. One day, while walking by the river, she found an old dusty lamp buried in the sand. Curious, she picked it up and gently rubbed it up. A cloud of smoke swirled and suddenly a magical genie appeared. I am the genie of the lamp. You may have 3 wishes, the genie said. Mary was excited. She could wish for anything, but instead of wealth, she thought about what was truly valuable. She wished for her parents to have good health. She wished for her village to have enough food for everyone. She thought for a long time, then wished for kindness to spread in the world. The genie smiled and said, "You have a pure heart. Your wishes shall be granted." From that day on, Mary's family was healthy and happy. Her village flourished and people became kinder to one another. Mary learned that the most valuable things in life were not wealth or personal desires, but the happiness we share with others. Kindness and selflessness are more powerful than personal desires. In the freezing land of the North Pole, a glowing ice cave was hidden beneath a glacier. Inside, a girl named Mary grew up among the ice cave people. She had silver hair and crystal blue eyes like frozen ice. Mary had a special power to control ice. She could create snowflakes, melt ice, and restore rare plants that grew only in the frozen caves. One day, the weather changed drastically. A blizzard raged and parts of the glacier began to crack. Mary realized that her home was in danger from a great storm. We must leave before the cave collapses. The tribe panicked, but Mary believed she could save the village. Mary used her power to create ice pillars to support the cave and sealed the cracks in the glacier with her bare hands. She worked cracks in the glacier with her bare hands. Sacrifice and love for her homeland. The tribe learned that facing problems with courage is more important than running away. One night, a brave little girl had to travel through the forest to get home. But as the sun set, she realized she hadn't reached her village yet. For safety, she climbed up a high wooden platform that hunters used to observe wild animals. I hope I can get through this night safely. Soon she heard a voice calling from below. Mary, come down, it's me, Sarah. Mary felt strange because Sarah was her friend from the village and had no reason to be in the forest. If you're really Sarah, light a fire for me. The figure of Sarah hesitated for a moment before trying to light a fire, but she couldn't do it at that moment. Sarah's body transformed into a huge tiger. It was a word tiger. The word tiger roared, trying to climb up the platform. Mary didn't panic. She closed her eyes and prayed for divine protection. Her voice made the word tiger step back. It didn't dare to come closer. It waited below but couldn't harm Mary. Mary stayed still until the sky brightened. As the sun rose, the word tiger vanished into the shadows of the forest. Mary the word climbed down and walked home safely. When she got home, she told her parents everything. Your faith and wisdom saved you from danger. Wisdom and faith will protect us from harm. Deep in the dark ocean, but lived in the shadows of the sea floor. Unlike other fish, it had the tiny glowing light on its head that guided it to find food. But one day its light started to flicker and it became confused. The little fish mistakenly thought the sunlight above was its guiding light. If I swim up, I will see the true light. The little fish decided to swim against the current, heading toward a light it had never seen before. It swam past strange creatures, through jellyfish and giant squids. But the higher it swam, the weaker it became due to the changing water pressure. Until one day it finally broke through the darkness and saw the because it was sick. Its light malfunctioned and led it the wrong way. It mistakenly believed the sunlight was its own guiding light. Mary Yu was a little girl who loved cooking. She enjoyed watching her mother cook and helped with small tasks in the kitchen. One day she wanted to prepare a special meal for her family, to thank her parents for working so hard for her. Mary was very excited. She chose her family's favorite dishes and started cooking. But things didn't go as smoothly as she expected. The eggs cracked and spilled on the table. The soup was too salty. The cake batter spilled all over the floor. Mary's mother walked in. Mary's mother walked in and wiped her tears away. Man, cooking is just like life, dear. If you make a mistake, just try again. Mary took a deep breath. She tasted the soup and added more water to fix the saltiness. She started riddling everything patiently. Finally, the meal was ready to be served on the table. Mary's parents smiled proudly and told her the food was delicious. Dad, not just because of the taste, but because you made it with love. She learned that effort and patience could make everything better. Mistakes are the best teachers. If we fail, don't be afraid to try again. Don't be afraid to try again. Mary's mother walked in. Mary's mother walked in. Don't be fail, don't be afraid to try again. Mary was a little girl who loved animals. One day she found an orange cat sitting by a trash can with an angry face. It hissed, hissed, and flicked its tail furiously. It seemed very unhappy. Why are you so angry? Mary asked gently. The cat didn't reply, but it scratched Mary's shoe and ran away. Mary didn't give up. She secretly brought cat food every day. But the cat always hissed at her. One day it rained heavily. Mary saw the cat sitting soaking wet under a tree. She slowly approached. Come here, I have a blanket for you. The cat hesitated, but finally crept closer and snuggled under Mary's blanket. After that day, the cat started trusting Mary, but it still kept its grumpy face. Why do you always look so angry? The cat turned to her and sighed. I'm not
actually angry. I was just born with this face.
Mary laughed, then I'll call you Angry Cat. From that day on, Mary and Angry Cat became best friends. Even though Angry Cat always had a grumpy face, it was actually a kind-hearted cat. Don't judge others by their appearance. What truly matters is the heart. In the vast jungle, there was a lion named Leon. He was the king of the jungle, strong and mighty. But despite his power, Leo felt no animal dared to come near him because they were afraid. One day, Leo saw a little mouse named
Mickey.
playing nearby. Leo roared and said,
Leon.
"Little mouse, why are you not afraid of me?"
Mickey.
"Because I believe that friendship is more important than fear."
Leo laughed.
Do you think a tiny creature like you can be a friend to a mighty lion like me? The next day, as Leo was walking through the jungle, he fell into a hunter's trap. A thick rope tightened around him, making it impossible to move. Leo roared loudly for help, but no animal dared to come near. Suddenly Mickey arrived. He used his tiny teeth to gnaw at the rope tirelessly. Before long, the rope snapped, and Leo was free. Leo was stunned. "I never thought a tiny creature like you could save me." From that day on, Leo and Mickey became true friends. Leo stopped underestimating small things and realized that the power of friendship is not measured by size, but by heart. You have taught me that even those who seem weak can be strong when it matters most. And you have taught me that true friendship doesn't come from similarity, but from understanding.
Never underestimate small things, for sometimes they are more valuable than they seem. True friendship comes from understanding, not size or power.
Suddenly Mickey arrived. He used his tiny teeth to gnaw at the rope tirelessly. Before long, the rope snapped, and Leo was free. Leo was stunned. "I never thought a tiny creature like you could save me." From that day on, Leo and Mickey became true friends. Leo stopped underestimating small things and realized that the power of friendship is not measured by size, but by heart. You have taught me that even those who seem weak can be strong when it matters most. And you have taught me that true friendship doesn't come from similarity, but from understanding.
Never underestimate small things, for sometimes they are more valuable than they seem. True friendship comes from understanding, not size or power.
One day, Mary, a curious and adventurous girl, found a golden bracelet lying in the forest behind her house. She put it on, and suddenly the bracelet started to glow. A voice discovered that she could make 3 wishes, but there was a rule: she could only use them to help others. The next day she saw an old fruit vendor at the market, whose fruits had been blown away by the wind. Mary touched the bracelet and said, "I wish for the fruits to return." In an instant, the fruits magically returned to their place as if nothing had happened. The old man smiled. "You are truly a kind girl." Mary used her second wish to heal a sick girl in the village. Now she had only 1 wish left, but then she saw that her village was suffering from a terrible drought. People had no water to drink, and crops were dying. Mary hesitated. Should she save the wish for herself or help the entire village? Finally, she touched the bracelet and said, "I wish for my village to always have water." Immediately, rain started to pour, filling the dry rivers and wells. After the final wish, the bracelet disappeared. Mary sighed. "The bracelet is gone, I have no magic left." But then a voice echoed in her heart, "You have always had great power, kindness." Mary realized that true magic didn't come from the bracelet, but from her own heart. The greatest power is kindness and selflessness. Mary was a little girl who loved asking questions and learning new things. She lived with Aunt Linda, who was strict and believed that adults were always right. Children must listen to adults because adults know everything. But what if adults never learn new things? One day, Mary saw Aunt Linda struggling to write a letter.
Her handwriting was hard to read, and she wrote very slowly.
"Auntie, why don't you use your phone to send a message instead?"
Phones are only for calling.
"How can a little girl teach me anything?" Mary picked up her phone, typed a message, and showed it to Aunt Linda.
With just a few taps, you can send a message. It's faster and easier to read than a letter.
Aunt Linda was speechless.
She had never thought that
Her little niece could teach her something.
from that day on, Aunt Linda became more open-minded. She let Mary teach her how to use a phone, send messages and search for information online. One day, Aunt Linda taught Mary something in return.
She showed her how to sew and cook traditional dishes. See, even adults can learn from children, and children can learn from adults too.
knows everything, and everyone can learn from each other, whether young or old.
Once upon a time, there was a little girl named Mary. She was smart and brave. She had to cross a vast desert to visit her relatives in a distant village. She carried only a small bag and a single bottle of water. Mary knew that the desert was hot and harsh, so she only traveled in the morning and evening. During the day she found shade to rest and conserve her energy. One day Mary saw an old man sitting weakly under a small tree. He asked her for water, but she had only half a bottle left. Mary, if I give him my water, I might not have enough to reach the village. But she knew kindness was more important than fear, so she shared her water with the old man. The old man smiled and said, "You have a kind heart. You will surely reach your destination." Mary kept walking until she was extremely thirsty. Then she saw an oasis ahead. She ran to drink the water and realized that the old man was the guardian of the oasis. He smiled and said, "You showed kindness to others, so the desert has returned kindness to you." Mary continued her journey, her heart full, not just with water, but with the lesson that kindness will always lead us to our destination. When we give without expecting anything in return, we may receive more than we ever imagined. Mary was a girl who loved the ocean. She admired surfers riding big waves and dreamed of becoming a world champion. One day she grabbed her dad's surfboard and tried her first wave. She tried to stand up, but splash, she fell into the water. Mary practiced hard every day. One day an announcement was made about a junior surfing competition. She was excited, but when she saw the tall and strong competitors, she started to worry. "You're too small for big waves," a boy mocked. Mary clenched her fists, she would prove them wrong. The competition began. Mary's opponents were all skilled surfers. When it was her turn, a giant wave as tall as a building rolled in. Her heart pounded, but she took a deep breath and paddled forward. Mary jumped on her board and rode the wave with confidence. She balanced perfectly, leaving the judges in awe. As she reached the shore, everyone cheered for her, even the boy who had mocked She took a deep breath and paddled forward. Mary jumped on her board and rode the wave with confidence. She balanced perfectly, leaving the judges in awe. As she reached the shore, everyone cheered for her, even the boy who had mocked her. Mary didn't win first place, but she won everyone's hearts. Size doesn't matter, courage and determination make you truly great. In a lush green valley, a girl named Mary lived with her family. Her duty was to tend to the sheep in the meadow. She was hardworking, but sometimes she felt lonely.
It would be nice to have a friend to play with.
One day, while tending her sheep, thinking it was a wolf, she quickly shouted for help. Help! A wolf is coming to eat my sheep. The villagers heard her and rushed over with weapons, but when they arrived, they saw nothing. The villagers began to suspect that Mary might be playing a trick on them. If there's no real wolf, don't cry out for no reason. Mary nodded, but she was sure she had seen the shadow. The next day, while Mary was watching her sheep, the dark shadow appeared again, but this time it was a real wolf. Help! The wolf is really here. But this time no one believed her anymore. The wolf leaped at the flock. Mary tried to protect them, but she was too small. In the end, the cries of the sheep and Mary forced the villagers to come out, and they saw that the wolf was real. They chased the wolf away, but many of Mary's sheep were injured. Mary felt guilty and promised never to cry wolf again. If we lie too often, people won't believe us when we tell the truth. In the end, the cries of the sheep and Mary forced the villagers to come out, and they saw that the wolf was real. They chased the wolf away, but many of Mary's sheep were injured. Mary felt guilty and promised never to cry wolf again. If we lie too often, people won't believe us when we tell the truth. Deep beneath the vast ocean, hidden under the waves, lay a secret kingdom.
There, a young mermaid named Mary lived with her family in a city of colorful coral.
Mary loved adventures and often swam far from home to explore the underwater world. One day she discovered a mysterious cave she had never seen before. Inside the cave lay an ancient treasure chest. Golden light shimmered through the water. Mary swam closer and reached out to open it. Suddenly, a dark shadow burst out. It was an ancient curse that trapped Mary inside a giant bubble. She struggled but couldn't escape. Water started rushing into the cave rapidly. Mary's best friend, a dolphin, saw her trapped in the bubble and quickly sought help from an old wise crab. The only way to break the curse is through friendship and selflessness, said the wise crab. The dolphin and her sea friends combined their strength to push the bubble until it burst, freeing Mary. Whoa. Once the bubble broke, the treasure chest transformed into a rainbow pearl.
The curse vanished,
And peace returned to the ocean. Mary realized that the true treasure wasn't gold or jewels, but friendship and kindness. Greed may lead to traps, but kindness will always help us overcome challenges. Greed may lead to traps, but kindness will always help us overcome challenges. Inside the cave, once upon a time, there were 4 little pigs named Mary, Rosie, Lisa, and Gaby. They lived in a small village and dreamed of building their own homes. They set out on a journey to find the perfect land, but along the way they encountered a wide river blocking their path. Tried to find a way across the river.
We should build a strong and permanent bridge.
That will take too long. We should build a wooden raft and float across.
Or maybe we should just swim across.
They argued, unwilling to listen to each other, wasting time without building anything. Meanwhile,
a cunning wolf was watching them from a distance. Seeing the little pigs arguing, it thought,
if they don't work together, I can easily catch them.
At last, Mary, Rosie, Lisa, and Gabby noticed the wolf lurking nearby. They immediately realized that if they didn't work together, they would become its prey.
So they decided to combine all 4 ideas.
Build a raft to transport materials across the river.
Bills is wood and stones to build a strong bridge.
2 weeks wings to explore the best route. Use wings to explore the best light.
The wolf reached the riverbank but couldn't cross because the bridge was built to hold only the little pig's weight. This isn't fair. If you hadn't worked together, I would have eaten you by now. Yes, but now we know that unity is stronger than division. The 4 little pigs laughed and crossed the bridge safely, leaving the wolf standing hungry and alone. If we work as a team, combine our ideas, and help each other, we can overcome any obstacle. In a small village in Thailand, a little girl named Mary was very excited because today was Songkran Day. She wore a bright Hawaiian shirt and held a water gun, ready to play with her friends. Mary's grandmother smiled and said, "Don't forget to pour water on the elders. Hands first, dear." Mary nodded. She knew that Songkran was not just about splashing water, but also a festival of gratitude. Mary went to the temple yard. She gently poured water on her grandmother and the elders' hands as a sign of respect. After that, she and her friends started splashing water joyfully. The children laughed lightly. The cool water splashed on their skin, refreshing everyone. While Mary was having fun, she noticed a boy standing sadly without a water gun. Mary walked over and smiled. She shared her water gun with him. Come play with us, Mary said. Even though she didn't know the boy well, the boy smiled widely and joined in. He was happy to receive Mary's kindness. By evening, Mary returned home. She felt happy not just because she had fun, but because she had made someone else smile. Her grandmother patted her head and said, "You did well, dear. The one who gives always receives more happiness than the one who takes." Mary realized that Songkran was not just a water festival, but a chance to share happiness with others. True happiness does not come from receiving alone, but from sharing with a pure heart. The children laughed loudly. The cool water splashed on their skin, refreshing everyone. While Mary was having fun, she noticed a boy standing sadly without a water gun. Mary walked over and smiled. She shared her water gun with him. The one who gives always receives more happiness than the one who takes. Mary realized that Songkran was not just a water festival, but a chance to share happiness with others. Once upon a time, there were two close friends named Mary, and they had grown up together and had been best friends since childhood. Mary was honest and always trusted her friend, while Glassy, though seemingly kind, was deep down greedy and selfish. One day Glassy met a merchant who tricked young women into slavery. In another city, he promised her a great sum of money if she could bring him a girl to sell. Glassy hesitated for a moment, but in the end her greed took over. She decided to deceive Mary. "Mary, my dear friend, I heard there's a city looking for young women to work for a great salary. Would you like to go with me?" Glassy said with a sweet smile. Mary, who had she found an opportunity to escape. She informed the authorities and helped free other captive women, including Glassy. Glassy deeply regretted her actions. She cried and begged for Mary's forgiveness. But Mary simply said, "Trust is a beautiful thing, but we must give it to the right people. Otherwise we may fall victim to greed." Never let trust blind your judgment, for even the closest friend may betray you when greed takes over. Deep in a vast forest, there was a rabbit named. He was the fastest runner in the forest and never missed a chance to boast about it. No one in the forest is as fast as me. I'll never lose to anyone. A tortoise named Listen quietly. Even though he was slow, he believed that speed wasn't everything. One day Reco challenged Tori to a race, just like in the old fable. But this time Tori smiled and replied,
If we're going to race, I suggest a competition that's not just about speed, but also effort and kindness. The new race was
"The journey across the forest." Both had to travel through a challenging path and help each other along the way. Rico sprinted ahead, but when he reached a wide river, he couldn't swim across. Tori slowly arrived and offered to carry Rico on his back. I never thought a tortoise could be this helpful. Later, they encountered a dense forest where Tori struggled to walk. Rico jumped ahead and cleared the path. Both of them realized that their different abilities help them overcome challenges together. When they reached the destination, neither cared who arrived first, because they had made it together.
a journey is more important than winning, and friendship is more valuable than speed.
I'm glad this race wasn't about beating each other, but about helping each other. Life is not just a competition, but a journey where we help each other reach the destination. A tortoise named Par listened quietly. Even though he was slow, he believed that speed wasn't everything. One morning, a little girl who loved adventures, visited the floating market for the first time. She sat on a long-tailed boat, floating along the winding canal. All around her were vendors in wooden boats, selling vegetables, fruits, and traditional Thai sweets.
Sweet mangoes, juicy pomelos, the vendors called out cheerfully.
Mary was thrilled by the vibrant floating market.
It felt like a magical world floating on water.
As the boat floated on, Mary noticed an elderly vendor struggling to paddle her boat to the riverbank. Her boat looked very heavy. Mary quickly told her boatman, "We have to help her." She reached out to grab the rope and help pull the elderly woman's boat to the riverbank safely.
Thank you so much, dear. You have a kind heart.
As a thank you, the elderly vendor handed Mary a basket full of Thai desserts.
These are thong yip, thong yod, and phoi thong delicious Thai sweets, she explained.
Mary took the basket with a smile. She didn't just receive Thai dessert, she learned that helping others filled the heart more than anything else. Helping others may be the most valuable gift in life. Helping others may be the most valuable gift in life. Deep in a dense forest where no one dared to go, a little girl named Mary lived with her special friend, a dragon named Fiona. Mary had found Fino's egg and raised him until he grew into a mighty dragon. But Fino was different from other dragons. Instead of breathing fire, he could breathe water. One day a massive wildfire spread across the mountains. Animals fled in panic as red flames devour everything in sight. Mary quickly climbed onto Fino's back and they soared into the sky. Fino, use your water breath to put out the fire. Fino took a deep breath and unleashed a powerful jet of water onto the roaring flames. Fino's water helped, but the fire spread too fast. Mary had an idea. She told Fino to fly to the river.
We can't do this alone. We need help.
Mary and Fino rallied the villagers and all the animals to help carry water to put out the fire. Fino sprayed water from above. Elephants used their trunks to splash water. Birds carried water in their beaks, and the villagers threw water to stop the flames. Finally, the wildfire was extinguished. the forest was safe once more.
You are the most special dragon. Fear no, Mary hugged her dragon friend.
And everyone else is amazing too. From that day on, fear no was no longer just the dragon who breathed water, but the guardian of the forest. A true hero doesn't need special powers, just a helping heart. In a small town, there was a young girl named Mary. She was not like other children. While others played with dolls or toys, Mary loved machines, especially big ones like the backhoe she had inherited from her father. Her backhoe was large and powerful, and it was her best friend. Mary had spent years learning how to operate it and was proud of her skills. One day a terrible earthquake struck the town. Buildings collapsed and people were trapped under the rubble. The sound of sirens filled the air as rescue teams rushed to the scene. Among them was Mary with her trusty backhoe. She knew that her skills were needed now more than ever. Mary's backhoe was big and strong, but it wasn't easy to dig through the rubble. The first obstacle she faced was the twisted metal beams that blocked her path. The metal was thick and hard, but Mary didn't give up. She used the bucket of her backhoe to break through the beams one by one. It was slow, but she kept going. Finally she broke through, and the next obstacle appeared. A large pile of rocks that had fallen from the top of the building. The rocks were heavy and unstable. Mary knew she had to be careful. If she moved too quickly, the rocks might shift and cause more harm. But with careful precision, she used her backhoe to gently lift the rocks one by one and clear the path. As the day passed, Mary faced her third challenge. A large gas pipe had burst in the earthquake, and there was a risk of explosion. The fumes were thick in the air, and Mary had to be extra careful. She knew that even a small spark from her backhoe could cause a disaster. She drove slowly, making sure to avoid the gas leak. It was a tense moment, but her steady hands guided the backhoe safely through the dangerous zone. Finally, after hours of hard work, Mary cleared enough of the rubble to reach the trapped people. She used her backhoe to carefully lift debris off them, and the rescue teams quickly helped them to safety. The people were grateful, and Mary felt a warm sense of accomplishment. Mary's mission was complete. She had faced 3 major obstacles and had overcome them all. With determination and skill, she had saved lives, and that was the greatest reward she could ever have. From that day on, people in the town always remembered Mary, the brave girl who drove a backhoe and saved lives.